and welcome to the program. This edition of Newsroom series covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka, and we begin in Gombe State, where the government says it is perfecting plans to unlock the state's agriculture potentials by leveraging on the vast water bodies that abound within its shores, one of which is the Balanga Dam. Constructed in 1984, the Balanga Dam has the potential to cultivate 11,000 hectares of land in dry season farming and make critical contribution to the overall food security agenda of the federal government. But the dam has been performing below its intended capacity over the years. While visiting Balanga and Dadinkowa dams, irrigation sites, as well as rice processing plants and the Muhammadu Buhari Park, a professor of biosystems and agricultural engineering from the Michigan State University, Mr. Daniel Uye, says Gombe State has all it takes to feed West Africa.
This is Balanga Dam, a gift of nature, beautifully nestled in the majestic mountains of Balanga local government area of Gombe State, Nigeria's northeast region. Its bubbling river, a historic home for fishing, transport and tourism, as its life-giving springs power villages in an all-year-round farming activity, creating thousands of jobs. With natural tributaries forming this dam, structures were built around it and officially commissioned in 1984 to scale up irrigation farming in the area to 11,000 hectares. But with the dam performing below its intended capacity, the Noah Yahya government says it is planning to get more from it.
This dam has the potential to cultivate about 11,000 hectares of land, but less than 2,000 was being utilized, so you can see what I'm talking about. The dam has its own challenges with respect to the canal. The canal is about 15 kilometers, and only 5 kilometers has been concretized. So the remaining 10 kilometers is not. So the flow of water is very slow. And as I'm telling you now, with the effort of His Excellency, the agricultural project this year are going to commence the restoration of the canal. The remaining 10 kilometers that have not been concretized, they will ensure that the concrete has been put there. And what that means is that if it takes like almost a whole day for water to flow from the dam to the command side where the irrigation takes place, now it will just take some couple of few hours. And what that means again, we have more land to cultivate. So I'm very sure in the not long distant future, we'll be able to get to that 11,000 that we've been always saying is on paper.
In 1980s, how someone knew that this kind of...
This is Professor Daniel Uye, a researcher in smart agriculture and a faculty member, Biosystems and Agricultural Engineering, Michigan State University. He believes that Gombe State has what it takes to spark off an agricultural revolution that can feed West Africa.
I can tell you that Gombe is taking all the right, I want to say beyond the right steps. They are not only taking the right steps now, they are taking steps of centuries to come that would make Nigeria have a turnaround. And the good thing is, with His Excellency taking time to visit Michigan State University and meeting with the leadership and other faculty working in different areas, Gombe State would leapfrog with what all the actions I have seen the governor is taking here would not only feed Gombe State, but will have the potential to export food in the nearest future.
Touring Balanga and Dadinkowa dams, irrigation sites, local and modern rice processing plants, and the Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park, Professor Uye lauds the visionary strides of the Noah Yahya government in promoting smart agriculture.
I saw a factory that has the capacity of 450 tons a day. That is a potential to export rice out of Nigeria, not just Gombe State. You know, back in Michigan State, where I come from and where we work, we have the harsh winter, which gives us a room of 3 to 4 months to grow food. But here we can cultivate crop all year round, 12 months. And then with water, if we can cultivate 3 rounds of rice paddy, that can feed that factory of 450 tons a day. And if you do the maths in your head of 450 tons of rice being produced a day, 365 days a year, that is the low-hanging fruit for Gombe State. It will create direct, indirect jobs. It will create revenue from the government, from taxes. It would open up a lot of other economic activities, and would keep everyone busy in this state.
The people of Balanga seem to be positively aligned with plans of the Noah Yahya administration to modernize the dam.
People of Balanga are very much eager to see the progress of Balanga Dam irrigation, because most of our youths now are running away from our villages. Why? Because they were used to farming in the irrigation time. But now they have taken up to 3 to 4 years, no irrigation. All of them were just stagnant. They are not doing anything.
It will generate more than 10,000 youth. It will engage them, this particular dam you are saying. Not only the irrigation they are talking about, but also the fishing activity, the recreational activity that it will generate and will attract. It will engage 10,000. So we are not talking about only people here in Balanga local government.
The Noah Yahya government says it is also exploring partnerships with relevant stakeholders to inject multi-billion-dollar investments into the Balanga Dam.
Governor Noah Yahya of Gombe State has flagged off the disbursement of 1.5 billion naira to medium and small-scale enterprises and also to persons affected by the 2024 flood disaster in the state. Governor Yahya says the exercise will stimulate micro and macroeconomic activities in the state and provide beneficiaries the opportunity to rebuild their livelihoods. More than 10,000 persons will benefit from the funds supported by the Northeast Development Commission to Gombe State.
It can be described as a calm after the storm, as Governor Noah Yahya presents checks to victims of the 2024 flood disaster and seed capital to medium and small-scale enterprises in Gombe State. Expressing the desire to provide safety nets and second chances for businesses to rebuild their livelihoods, Governor Yahya says the welfare of Gombe State citizens occupy the center stage of his administration's policies.
The welfare of the people of Gombe State remains at the heart of our administration's priorities. Over the years, we initiated and implemented numerous programs aimed at alleviating the suffering of the poor and the vulnerable in our society. Over the years, we've taken various palliative food distribution programs and provided emergency intervention to flood victims and other disaster-affected groups.
Government councils appreciate the efforts of the government across the 114 wards of the state.
Your Excellency, sir, I want to confess, because from the day I took out of office to date, I cannot count in short time the kind of intervention that has come to the local governments, either through the state, through development partner, which was anchored by you, or the federal government.
In order to reduce the rigors of the over-the-counter withdrawals, persons with disabilities are given their disbursement in cash.
Of course, we have selected a lot of beggars among these beneficiaries, and we are going to ensure that those of them that have benefited did not go back to the street. They have used that little money to support their businesses and continue to support themselves and to become productive members of the society. Of course, we feel that for the past 15 years, we have been looking for the passage of Gombe State Disability Bill. Now we have a bill that guarantees free education, free health care, 5% employment opportunity for persons with disability, and that we must be included in all palliative and empowerment of Gombe State government.
The governor encourages the beneficiaries to be diligent and enterprising while ramping up the revenues of the state.
And now to other aspects of development in education, to be precise. In response to recent agitation by the academic staff of Saadu Zungur University in Gadao, Bauchi State, Governor Bala Mohammed has inaugurated a high-level visitation panel to address the issues at the institution. The panel, chaired by Professor Gambo Laraba, is tasked with investigating the root causes of the recent industrial action by the university's academic staff, reviewing the institution's financial operations, as well as developing a framework to ensure effective and harmonious operations. During the inauguration, Governor Mohammed urged the panel to utilize their expertise to achieve meaningful and impactful results. The panel is expected to submit its report within 6 weeks.
As a government that places high premium on education, we find it necessary to arrest the situation. To this end, a visitation panel has been appointed to address the problems at the institution after our initial intervention, and we are happy that the union had done tools on the aspect of their strike, and of course sanity has been returned. And we understand that since the inception or the establishment of the university, no visitation panel has been constituted. And that's why we are doing this with some of the most respected persons that we believe with varied backgrounds that will be able to assist the chairperson, who was my teacher, and somebody that is well respected in the educational community, not within Nigeria alone, but all over the world. The panel. The terms of the panel is as follows: to investigate the causes of the ongoing strike with specific focus on staff welfare concerns and industrial relations. 2, review the financial operation of BASUK, including funding sources, expenditure patterns, and compliance with statutory provisions. 3, examine the adequacy and effectiveness of academic programs, research initiatives, and quality assurance mechanisms. 4, assess the governance structure and adherence to the university's enabling law. 5, recommend policies and strategies to address identified gaps in welfare funding, infrastructure, and academic excellence.
And on to Yobe State now. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 3 persons for allegedly vandalizing Airtel Telecommunications Mast. The incident happened on January the 7th, 2025 in Kukar Gadu village of Fika local government area of the state, when personnel of the Corps were hinted on the suspicious dismantling of the mast. The commandant in Yobe State, Grema Babasonda, while inspecting the vandalized mast, urged the general public to be vigilant in protecting their environment by alerting security agents.
My able generals here have succeeded in capturing these looted items, and they brought it for us here. And we will never relent on our efforts to see that we curtail the excesses of all culprits, because this is a cataclysmic material liquidation of which one can't calculate its consequences. We will do and do and do. That is our function. And we will never leave our treasure to be grounded by culprits within the framework of our nation, because we are reserving all these things for even the generations unborn yet unborn.
Welcome back. The Yobe State government, under its World Bank project, the Rural Access and Agriculture Marketing RAMP, says it will construct rural roads for farmers across the state for easy transportation of their farm produce. The project coordinator in the state, architect Musa Damagum, disclosed this in Damaturu, the state capital, at a meeting stakeholder engagement, signaling the commencement of the 6-year project. The project, which has 4 components, is also aimed at supporting farmers on the best way to market their farm produce without incurring loss.
Road accessibility has always been a major challenge to farmers in the remote areas of Yobe State while transporting their farm produce to either markets or homes, hitherto resulted to increase of the costs of transportation. Others results to the use of donkeys or other domestic animals, as the case may be, as a means of transportation to reach their destinations. And that's why stakeholders in the agriculture, works, and economy sectors, alongside other government officials, are meeting for the takeoff of a 6-year rural access and agricultural marketing project in Yobe State.
The main objective of the project is to upgrade rural access roads across the state. Rural access and agricultural marketing project has been going on in the country for quite some time. Yobe State is just happening to catch up, on the scale-up version of the project. So the objective is for this project is to accelerate the maintenance, the upgrading of our access roads in the rural communities to link markets, our farmers and interior farming communities to the market.
He further explains that 2 agencies are to be established: the Access Road Authority, saddled with repairs of the roads, as well as the State Road Fund for roads maintenance after the exit of the project.
The main objective of this consultation workshop is to discuss how to approach these sector reforms, these institutional reforms. There is a proposal by the World Bank regarding how we would go about this reform. And this proposal contains, among other things, establishment of 2 dedicated government agencies that are focused on financing and maintaining rural access.
The members of the State Executive Council and state legislators who participated in the discussions believe it will impact positively on the farmers when it comes to a reality.
This is a project that deals with rural communities. It's a project that will, provide accessible roads to rural people for the delivery of their farm produce to markets, particularly at the urban centers. So we appreciate this project, and we are welcoming it in Yobe State, and we are going to work with them very closely in order to provide access roads.
It is a credit. So as a legislator and chairman House Committee on Agri, I gave assurance that yes, we agree that we are going to join this project, and we are going to give any legislation that will give it a legal framework to have this project in Yobe State.
The project has 4 components of local agricultural market connectivity, strengthening funding and institutional base, maintenance of rural roads, and enhancing road safety.
The governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, has inaugurated 3 boards in the health sector to oversee a comprehensive overhaul of the state's healthcare service delivery. This is in continuation of Professor Zulum's drive to attain universal healthcare delivery in all parts of the state and within the shortest possible time.
The newly inaugurated boards are State Hospital Management, Primary Healthcare Development, and the State University Teaching Hospital Management Board. This follows infrastructural and facility development undertaken in the healthcare sector across all resettled communities in the state.
Because of the insurgency, we don't have more than 10.
Inaugurating the different boards at the council chambers of the government house in Maiduguri, Governor Babagana Zulum outlines his vision for the health sector, directing reforms to address issues such as inadequate facilities, insufficient staffing, and lack of essential medical supplies in some health facilities.
As we inaugurate the board members of these critical institutions, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to providing quality health services to the people of Borno State. Distinguished guests, the Borno State Hospital Management Board Establishment Law empowers me under Section 4, Subsection 1 to appoint the chairman and members of the board. This board is mandated to generally administer, control, and manage all hospital services in the state. Additionally, to ensure that standards and quality of healthcare services provided are controlled by the board is also responsible for providing information and advice to the Borno State Ministry of Health and Human Services to facilitate the development of realistic state health sector policies and plans, amongst others.
Elaborating on the deliberate efforts on infrastructural and human resource investment of the Zulum administration, the State Commissioner for Health says the state lost 45% of its workforce and infrastructure during the height of the insurgency. He admits the current number of health workers in the state is grossly inadequate to meet the growing population.
At the moment, we have about 148 doctors in the state, and this is not sufficient to look after 7 million people, and therefore we have to improve on our human resources for health. At the moment, the Primary Healthcare Board has about 1,746 staff in their payroll who are level 6 and above. This includes JCHUs, CHUs, and also doctors, nurses. And therefore, it's not sufficient for us to attain universal healthcare coverage with this number of staff.
Current Chief Medical Director of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, Professor Ahmed Ahijo, is appointed chairman of the board.
First, we have to thank you for the confidence that you repose on us to do this service for the benefit of humanity. Because hospital or healthcare service may not necessarily be limited to Borno State. Anybody that comes into this community, and people are purposely referred to this place, so it serves everyone. An NGO person may come from America and he will fall sick and will be treated in our facilities. So it's for everybody. And we assure you, sir, we will give our best. The caliber of people that you have chosen to serve on these boards, I believe we will work, if not close, at least we will do significant to your expectation.
In the recently assented bill of Borno State, the government allocated 15.39% of the budget to the health sector in the year 2025.
The Taraba state government says it is worried about the unending trafficking of illicit drugs and substance abuse from the Republic of Cameroon, and is advocating stringent measures to address the growing menace. The state government is partnering with the NDLEA and a non-governmental organization to provide a safe space for victims, and is seeking the active participation of families in curbing drug abuse and mental health issues in the state. This is the Mambila Plateau, located in Sardauna local government area of Taraba State, and one of the 5 that shares boundaries with the Republic of Cameroon. This makes it vulnerable to smuggling of illicit drugs and drug abuse, which has necessitated a joint campaign between the Taraba state government and the NDLEA, as well as a non-governmental organization, to educate residents on the need to shun illicit drugs and train 4,000 youths per council to embrace entrepreneurship.
The AA Youth Alliance Foundation has carefully studied our society and identified the following programs for the youth: empowerment across the 16 local government areas, and to develop the areas with target of 1,000 youth per quarter, totaling the total sum of 4,000 youth in these programs that we are facing.
The state command of the NDLEA is represented by the Assistant Superintendent of Narcotics, Gembu Area Command, Mr. Ayuba Gwamzing, who gives a clearer picture of the collaboration.
Every crime that you are seeing in the society today, the reason why people are into that, are committing that crime is because of drug abuse. That's why I said drug abuse is the mother of all crime that you are seeing. Now the consequence of the drug abuse is what? Prostitution, rape, armed robbery, stealing, loss of job, expulsion from school, murder, accident. You cannot enter a car of someone that is using drugs, because if the person is not in his real senses, he's going to what? He's going to have accident, right? So it's going to endanger your life.
The Taraba state government says drugs are usually trafficked through its border with Cameroon, a situation that requires urgent steps to tame the increasing number of substance abuse through effective collaboration and monitoring.
Drugs
are often trafficked into Nigeria through our Cameroonian border axis. This is a red flag that we cannot ignore. The alarming crisis in drugs abuse among our youths, women and girls in Sada local government serve as a wake-up call for all of us. We must remain vigilant and proactive in addressing this crisis. Together we can create a sustainable framework that not only reduces our youth abuse, the danger of drugs abuse, but also equip them with the skills and opportunities needed to drive the economy.
The aim of the collaboration is to suffocate the supply chain by enforcing the necessary laws to curb substance trafficking and abuse. And still in Taraba, no fewer than 80 police officers have been promoted and decorated with their new ranks by the State Police Command. The secretary to the Taraba government, who represented Governor Agbu Kefas at the brief ceremony, says the promotion is an attestation to the state government's commitments to ensuring peace and tranquility in Taraba. The State Police Commissioner, Ukachi Okpara, congratulated the newly promoted officers on their well-deserved elevation, urging them also to uphold their professional standards and transparency in the course of their duty. He further calls on families and friends to continue to support them in the discharge of their duties, while also appreciating the IGP for finding the officers worthy of promotion. And that sums it up on this edition of the program today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again same time next week. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.